Hello everyone, what is going on? And this is Ashwin Pajankar. I welcome you to another episode of CS 101 where we are going to see the fundamentals of graphs. So let us see what graphs are. Graphs are nothing but the collection of nodes and the connecting links. So let us see an example graph. So here we have one node. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So these are 5 nodes that we have and we can connect them in various ways. Now based on how we connect them, they can be either a graph or a tree. Now let us make a simple tree out of these 5 nodes. So this is a simple tree where 1 is root and 2 is its child and so on. 5 is the leaf node. Now if I want to convert this tree into a graph, then I have to insert another link from 5 to 1. Basically every tree is a graph, but every graph is not a tree. So whenever we have a cycle in our data structure, then it becomes a graph. So now this is a graph where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they are connected. Even a simple tree can be a graph, as I told you already. So suppose if I say 1 and 2 and 3. So this is a tree as well as a graph, but this one is only a graph and it is not a tree. Because there is a cycle in this graph and there is no cycle in this particular data structure, no cycle. Okay. So if you start from a node and then if you find the path to come back to the same node, then it is known as cycle. So here we don't have any of that sort of cycle. But here if I start from 2, then I can just go ahead, traverse 3, 4, 5, 1 and then again I will come back to 2. So if that is true even for a single node, then it is known as a cycle. Only graphs have got cycles. Trees, even though they are graphs, they do not have cycles. Okay. So this is the difference between tree and graph. Basically every tree is a graph, but every graph is not tree. Now let us see how we can represent the graphs in our memory. Okay. And let me draw that graph again. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So let us connect them using the green color. And let us write 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now we can represent them with a matrix. And it is very easy to draw a matrix, corresponding matrix to that. So let me move this aside and let us try to draw a corresponding matrix, and it is kind of very easy. So this is our matrix. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Similarly, this is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So let us draw some lines actually to organize our data and to make it look more like a matrix. Okay, now I'm going to fill in 1 whenever there is an edge between any two nodes. So now from 1 to 1 there is no edge. Okay. So 1 is not referring to itself. So I'm going to say 0. Similarly, there is no edge between 2 to 2. Okay, we don't have a case like this. So this is an edge from source to the same destination, and we don't have that sort of case. So I am actually going to erase it. Okay, so I have erased it and we are going to mark appropriately in our graph or in our matrix for the graph. Similarly, we can do the same for all the other nodes. Now there is an edge between 1 to 2. So for 1 to 2, I am going to write 1. And similarly, there is an edge between 2 to 1. So this is 1. From 2 to 3, there is an edge. From 2 to 3, there is an edge. From 3 to 4, there is an edge. And from 4 to 5, there is an edge. Okay. Similarly, we can mark 1 wherever we find an edge, and we can mark 0 where we do not find any edge. From 3 to 1 there is no edge, so I'm going to mark it 0, and similarly I'm going to mark everything 0. Now this type of matrix is known as an adjacency matrix. Now you also notice one more thing, that the upper triangular elements, they are mirror copy of the lower triangular elements. This is because this is an undirected graph. The edges do not have any sort of directions. So we are going to see directed graph versus undirected graph further down this entire episode. But remember it for now, that directed graph, it has got directions for the edges, and for undirected graph, there are no directions when it comes to edges. That is why the upper triangular matrix and the lower triangular matrix for the adjacency matrix of any undirected graph is going to be same. So upper triangular matrix and lower triangular matrix, they are same for any undirected graph. So this was adjacency matrix representation. Now there is even more efficient type of representation that doesn't take actually as much space as this adjacency matrix. Now you must have noticed that there are a lot of zeros here and there are less number of ones. So we can mitigate that. We can actually save that sort of wastage of storage space by creating an adjacency list for our graph. An adjacency list is very easy to create. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this adjacency matrix. So I hope that you understood the concept of adjacency matrix, and we are going to now understand the meaning of adjacency list. Now adjacency list is list of all the nodes in such a way that the node is actually head of a linked list, and that linked list contains the list of all the nodes that particular node is connected to. And this is very easy. So here I am going to say 1. This head is going to be labeled as 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, now 1 is connected to 2. So I'm going to draw a link and I'm going to say 2, and 1 is also connected to 5. Similarly, 2 is connected to 3 and 2 is connected to 1. So 1 and 3. And then again 3 is connected to 2 and 4. 2 and 4. 4 is connected to 3 and 5. 3 and 5. And finally 5 is connected to 4 and 1. So we are not storing them in any particular order. We are just creating a list of elements that are connected to that particular node, which we are representing as head. Okay, so these are all head nodes. And then these are the other members of that particular linked list. So now we have got collection of 5 linked lists, and we can create a list or an array of that linked list where we are storing all these head nodes. Okay, so I can have something like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And let me fill in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then these are the pointers to the next elements. So this is something what we call as adjacency list. Now you can see that there are only a few blocks that are occupied with very meaningful data. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 5, 2, 1, 3, and this way we have only 15 blocks of data that are consumed. In contrast to the earlier example of adjacency matrix, where we were consuming a lot of space for storing all that same information. Obviously, programmatically this is more complex, but we are at least saving the space. So this is always a juggling between space and time. Okay, So this is one of the most fundamental things in computer science, that either you can actually have more space and less computational power for an algorithm, or that data structure is going to take less space, but it is going to consume more computational power. So here the programming logic is a bit more difficult than handling the adjacency matrices, but it is definitely taking the less space. Now earlier I had also discussed the directed graph versus undirected graph, and I had already told you that this is an undirected graph, that there are no directions in this graph. There is also something known as directed graph, and now let us see what a directed graph means and how we can draw it and how we can store it. Okay, so I had told you that upper triangular matrix and lower triangular matrix for an adjacency matrix for an undirected graph is exactly the mirror copy of each other. But here in the directed graph, that is not the case. Okay, so now let me show you a simple directed graph, and it is going to be very, very exciting thing. So this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. And these are the nodes. Now let us draw the arrows or the connecting links. And here from 3 to 2, this is a direction. Okay, this is a directed edge, or this is a directed link. From 1 to 3, we have a directed link. And from 2 to 1, we have a directed link. We can also have from 1 to 2. And if we want to point it to the same node, that is also possible. Okay, now let us represent this with a matrix, and that is going to be quite easy. So let me go ahead and shift this to a side so that we have more space for demonstrating the adjacency matrix. And you can compute actually. If there are n number of nodes, then we can have a matrix of size n by n, and that is also quite easy. So 1, 2, and 3. Similarly 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so from 1 to 2, we are going to show that there is a link. So from 1 to 2. So this is for source, and this is for destination. From 2 to 1 also there is a link. From 3 to 2 there is a link. From 3 to 2. And from 3 to 3 is also link. From 1 to 1 there is no link. Okay. And from 1 to 3 there is a link. From 1 to 3 there is a link. And so let us see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 5 links, or there are 5 edges, and we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So there are 5 edges that we have. Okay. So we can say rest of the stuff is 0. So out of 9 places, we have 5 edges, and rest of the links are non-existent. So this is what we call as a adjacency matrix for a directed graph. Now you can clearly see the difference. The upper triangular matrix is not the mirror copy of the lower triangular matrix, and vice versa. So this is why we have actually the directions in the directed graph, because we want to make sure that the data flows in only one direction, or your algorithm actually traverses only in that particular direction. In undirected graph, we can traverse in any direction we want, but in directed graph, we have to follow that particular direction. Similarly, we can even draw the adjacency list for our directed graph, and that is also quite easy. Okay, so the very fundamental that we are going to draw a list, let us say 1, 2, and 3. So 1, 2, and 3, and these are the links. Okay, and I'm going to say now these are the head nodes, 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Now let us draw. From 1 to 2 there is a link. 1 to 2. there is a link. Okay. And from 1 to 3 is also there is one link. Similarly, from 2 to 1 there is a link. And finally, we have a link from 3 to 2 and 3 to 3. So there are 5 entries in total. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And here we have 5 edges or 5 links. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So this is how we can draw an adjacency list for a directed graph. So this is a very interesting data structure, and it is not possible to cover everything in a single episode. So we are going to have more episodes of seeing what graph is. So thanks a lot for watching this episode. Do let me know if you have any questions or queries in the comment section down below. Do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for such awesome videos, and I will see you in the next episode.